Hello YouTube fans, Magnus here, and welcome to a deck profile with Super Quantum. This is what I've been playing on my channel for the last 3 to 4 weeks, and I've enjoyed it quite well. I felt this was a really good suggestion for me to play, and yeah. And it has some really good suggestions for the deck, mainly the match changes and King of Bio, which did prove to be very effective. So I did very much enjoy that. And yeah, the deck seems to be consistent enough for what it needs to be with the minimal support we have gained. There is an artifact version of this deck, but I don't usually play artifacts. I prefer to play in more of a pure sense, just because it's just so nice like this, to be honest. Whereas the artifacts can be quite cloggy, and I don't like the clogginess of certain decks. It's more consistent than a Blackluster or a BLS deck. And that is the same thing. Blackluster or a Bust Up Later deck, where it won't be as consistent as something like Pepe, Tellarknights, or Cosmo, etc. etc. So this is more of a fun deck that you could be possibly using when the support comes out in February. So yeah, let's go straight into the deck. We have triple Red Layer. Red Layer has 3 effects. Its first effect, you can special summon from your hand if you control no monsters, which is nice. It's technically better than Cyber Dragon, because Cyber Dragon requires your opponent to have a monster, whereas you do not. So a nice special summonable monster is quite nice in that sense. And when it is normal special summon, it can target a Super Quantum card in your graveyard and to your hand. So you can add back your Magna Carrier, or add back Fodder for your Magna Carrier, or even add back your little fairy if you want to use it next turn. And the final effect is that if it's sent to the graveyard, it's an effect, so it doesn't miss timing. You can target one Super Quantum card in your graveyard, well, Super Quantum monster in your graveyard, and special summon it, but its effects cannot be activated. So you cannot attach materials to them if they're Exceed monsters, and you can't use their effects on summons and stuff like that. So that could be good for getting all the Super Quantum layers that you need onto the field, so you can do your Magna Carrier very effectively. So yeah, that's quite good. Then we have 3 Green Layer, the one I usually hit with Fairy or Reasoning, which is very annoying, but yeah, what can you do? It has 2 effects. When it is normal special summon, you can special summon one Super Quantum monster from your hand, which is good for getting out Red Layer after you summon out your Green Layer. So you've easily into Blue Layer, then normal summon Green Layer, special summon Red Layer, and hopefully you'll have enough resources in your hand to use your Magna Carrier and go for Great Magnus that turn. And it has the second effect: if it's sent to the graveyard, you can discard one Super Quantum card to draw one card, which is good as well. I don't use that effect much though, unfortunately, because I'd rather, if it was Blue Layer, I'd probably want to keep it in the hand. If it was Fairy, I'd probably want to keep it in the hand. If it's Magna Carrier, depending on how many Magna Carriers are being used or out, I'd probably want to keep it in the hand. If it's Red Layer, I probably will discard it. Then we have 2 Star Drawing to go in to Exceed with our Green Layer or Blue or Red Layer, and bring forth a rank 4 or rank 5 Exceed with a draw, which is very nice. So Star Drawing works quite well in this deck. Then we have 3 Blue Layer. Blue Layer is the searcher for our Super Quantum cards, so when it is normal special summoned, it can add one Super Quantum card from your deck to your hand, which is very good, because you can summon it out with E-Telly and get your Magna Carrier or whatever Super Quantum you need at that point. Its second effect is actually very good as well. If it's sent to the graveyard, you can tackle up to 3 Super Quantum cards in your graveyard and shuffle them into the deck. This means you technically can't really deck out at this point, because you can just keep recycling your layers around and your carriers, and hopefully that should protect you from decking out and should replenish your resources for fairy summons. Then we have 1 King of Bio to special summon out Fairy and then return to your hand, and so you can continuously do this combo, which is very fun. Then we have 2 Super Quantum Fairy Alphan. This is one of the most key cards in the deck, because it has 2 effects. The first effect I don't use much. It's once per turn you can target one Super Quantum monster, and then all face-up monsters you currently control become that target's level, which is a nice effect. You can technically make a rank 4 with Alphan and King of Bio if you have that on board. So that's random, but its second effect is the one you use most. You can tribute this card, reveal 3 Super Quantum monsters with different names from your deck, and special summon one of them randomly. The rest goes to the graveyard. So that is a very good effect because that will mean you can gain their graveyard effects and the field effect depending on what is randomly chosen. If you go for blue layer, you'll probably be searching out the Magnet carrier, and then you'll probably be special summoning out the green layer as well through the red layer effect, and then you can go for your Magnet carrier and hopefully go for 2 exceeds. If you special summon your red layer, you can tag in one of your super quantums in your graveyard and add to your hand. So you may be able to replenish your blue layer, or add another copy, or add the Magnet carrier back, and then green layer could discard. If you summon out a green layer, you may be able to special summon out a blue layer from your hand or a red layer, and they'll continue going on like that. So it is up to you on what combos you'd like to do with this, and what you would like to do for that present situation. But it's a very good card and very needed in the deck. Then we have 2 instant fusions because the Exceed is generic, so just reborn your green layer and make it a quick play Maestroke, which is very good. You can also have Castel in this deck as an alternative option. Then we have 1 1-for-1, summon out Fairy Alphan, 1 Regeki because it's Regeki, 1 Soul Charge to reborn maybe 2 to 3 of those Exceed monsters, and then go for Great Magnus. So it isn't as problematic. Soul Charge can help with your graveyard resources or graveyard losses. Very good late game, as long as your life was not dead. Then 3 Reasoning. This is getting so much prominence at the moment in TCG because there's like Reasoning in Inferno, Reasoning in I think Chaos Dragons maybe use Reasoning, or some other decks just use Reasoning, and Cosmo use Reasoning, and Yangzing use Reasoning, I think. So they have multiple levels, but Reasoning is very abusable in this deck because you just get your opponent to declare a level, and they don't know if it's going to be level 5 to level 1, to be honest. Well, they wouldn't say level 2. If they say level 6 or higher, they probably think it's Cosmo. So that's good. If they say level 1, they'll think it's Infernoid. So it tells you what they're thinking as well. So their mindset. Which is nice sometimes. But Reasoning definitely can just hit one of these random monsters, and then if it's blue, you can probably get a search off as well. So that's good as well. Now if you hit Alphan, you get your engine going. Then 1 Terraforming. Originally it was 2 Terraforming, but I don't want to clog with this super carrier. So I have 1 Terraforming now and 1 Emergency Teleport. Emergency Teleport is special summon out blue layer, which is to search out your Magnet carrier, most likely. Then we have 2 Mass Change Second. This was one of the key suggestions by one of my subs. I can't remember who off the top of my head. I really should check, but I just completely forgot. But also suggested in Kinkabao. But originally I was running upstarts, and these replaced the upstarts. So Mass Change Second is very good in the fact that I can bring out Divine Wind, which is usually never sees play, and Acid to blow back row or the Pendulum Scales. Divine Wind to bring out nice defense that they have to Castel away. So that's quite good. And it also gets off their super quantum discard effects. Well, in instance ago, sorry for yawning then. And then we have 2 Supply Squad just to keep some consistency. I do still want some draws. I don't want to deck out, obviously, which I nearly got close to, but thanks to the blue, I never did. Then we have 3 Magnet Carrier, the most key card in the deck. Discard 1 card, target 1 Super Quantum Mecha Pilot, upgrade it into its Exceed Beast form. So that is very good in that sense, because you can technically bring this out like turn 1 or turn 2, depending on how good you have opened up. And its other effect is that you can send it to the graveyard to overlay 3 of your Exceed Super Quantum Beasts, as long as it's 1 of each, Magna Larger, Aeroboros, and Grand Pulse. Is it Magna Pulse? No, it's Grand Pulse now. To summon out Great Magnus. So that's also very needed in the deck. Then we have 2 Storming Mirror Force for possible Cosmo matchups and possible OTKs. Then we have 2 Exceed Universe, which can be very good against Pepe because they exceed a hell of a lot, and you do exceed a lot. So if they go for like Castel, you may be able to bring out Aegeon, or depending on what you want, depending on your preference for your rank 8, most likely Kali Yuga, but I go for Aegeon for the troll factor. And then we have 2 Burying Mirror Force, which are another variant of Mirror Force for our deck, which sets your opponent's monsters permanently, hopefully stalling them until you bring out Great Magnus and then just run them down for the game. Then we have 1 Torrential Tribute, because it's Torrential Tribute, and 1 Solemn Warning, because it is the format for Solemn Warning. I'm not running Solemn Notice in the deck, although I would probably take out Torrential Tribute, maybe one of the Magna Carriers, maybe Emergency Teleport for it. For Solemn Notice, if you want to run it, I don't run it because it's for entertainment purposes and Savage Dragon Infinity. So Solemn Notice, Savage Dragon Infinity, and Rafflesia are never very entertaining, because you know they're gonna be good. Then we have the Exceeds and Fusion monsters. No Synchros. Then we have 2 Super Quantum Mecha Grand Pulse. So this is MST, which is quick play if it has blue layer on it, and it can attach materials. So that's very good, and it's generic as well. So this probably could replace Alucard in the future. Then we have Castell, because it's Castell. 2 Aeroboros, which is like Maestro, just doesn't have the protection ability and can attach materials. So yeah, they all have the generic effect that all the beasts have the generic effect that they can't attack if they don't have any exceed materials, which makes sense because that's their pilot. If they don't have the pilot, they're just a machine, and that's not going to be very operational if you don't have your pilot. So it makes sense in that sense. But this is never going. I don't think this is going to replace Maestro, unfortunately. And then we have 2 Magnalizer, which is a quick play. I think it's Armides, or just I think more Armides. Not Armides, Adrius. That's the one. Which is alright, but it's still. I don't think it's gonna really take control over Adrius's front. Then we have 1 Gaia Dragon to overlay onto Magnalizer to do some piercing damage, or if Magnalizer has no material, to attack. Then 1 Aegion to go with XYZ Universe for the troll factor, because it banishes your opponent's extra deck, and then gives it back if you want to destroy one of their monsters that with corresponding card types. So that's always awesome. Then 2 Super Quantum Mecha Lord Great Magnus. Required 2 because I have brought out 2 in one game before. I have never brought it out 3 times in one game, and it's really unlikely you're going to, so you don't really need a third copy of this. It has escalating effects. So its first effect, if he has 2 or more materials, you can, during either player's turn, so a quick effect, detach 1 Exceed material and shuffle 1 card in the field into the deck. Yeah, and I don't believe that targets, so that can get over Cosmo problems. Then we have, for its 4 or more materials, it's unaffected by card effects except from Super Quantum card effects. So yeah, try Regekiing me, try Torrentialing me, you're not going to get rid of the Super Quantum that easily. That's why I refer to it as towers, because it is a very high level / rank and very high attack points. Whereas Rongominiad is very unscalable as well, but it's not as attack heavy or level heavy, and it's easier to get out. Rongominiad is easier to get out than Great Magnus in that sense. Its final effect, final material cost effect, is that if it has 6 or more materials, your opponent can add cards from their deck to their hand by card effects. So that is very, very good, because that's a mistake just for them. But you probably won't be using that effect much. And then if it's sent to the graveyard, you can target 3 Super Quantum Mecha Beasts from your graveyard with different names and special summon them. So that is good for resupplying your Magnus summons. So that's always very good in that sense. And then we have 2 Nordens to go with our instant fusions, and 1 Master Hero Acid as a Heavy Storm, and 1 Divine Wind, that's a Happy Feather Duster, and 1 Divine Wind for draw power. So that's very good as well. Overall, the deck does have a few consistency issues, but I do enjoy it a lot, and it's more consistent than BLS or Blacklist Buster Blader. So yeah, let me know what you think. Please leave your comments below if you've got any suggestions for the channel in general and the deck, and please like, subscribe if you enjoyed this and want to see further content. Thank you for watching. Madrant signing out.